I hope that you are well, and I hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 1 English lesson on personal pronouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca, with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts, grade 1. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of personal pronouns. All right, so our chapter is personal pronouns. Our subject is English language arts, grade 1. And the lessons that we are focusing on under the chapter of personal pronouns is to choose between subject and object pronouns, and to choose the correct personal pronouns. All right, so we'll be doing personal pronouns, right? And a pronoun, it takes the place, of a noun, right? So personal pronoun or pronouns, it takes the place of a noun, right? So instead of example saying the person's name, you can say words like either I, you, him, her, he, she, it, we, us, them, or they, right? Depending on the context in which you are mentioning the person or thing, right? So we have two types or different types of pronouns. We have subject pronouns and we have object pronouns, right? Actually, there's different types of pronouns, right? But in this case, we'll be focusing on subject pronouns and object pronouns and the personal pronouns, right? And a subject pronoun, right? A subject pronoun, it tells us who is doing something. So a subject pronoun tells us who is doing something. And when it comes to subject pronoun, right, a subject pronoun usually you'll usually find it at the beginning of each of the sentence, right? And like I said, a pronoun, it takes the place of a noun. So when it comes to a subject pronoun, right, we will then use words like I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So those are subject pronouns. And if we look at an example of a subject pronoun, right? An example of a subject pronoun, it says, I hug Rick. So that's our sentence. It says, I hug Rick. And if we were to identify our subject pronoun within that sentence, and then our subject pronoun is I. And like we said, it is at the beginning of the sentence. And then another example is they help Emma. And they is our subject within that sentence. And then we have an object pronoun, right? So an object pronoun, it comes after an action verb. So an object pronoun, it comes after an action verb. And an object pronoun is words like me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. And if we look at an example of a personal pronoun, then it says Rick hugs me, right? So an object pronoun is me. And another example is Emma helps them, and our pronoun is them. So basically, this is our subject pronoun and it is our object pronoun. And like we say, a subject pronoun, it tells us either who is doing something And the subject pronoun will usually find at the beginning of a sentence. And our subject pronouns are words like I, you, he, she, we, and they. And an object pronoun, it comes after an action verb, and the object pronoun is words like me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. All right, so this is the difference between a subject pronoun and it is an object pronoun. So now we're going to a+students.ca, and we're basically going to continue by finding out about personal pronouns, and we are going to be choosing between a subject and an object pronoun, and to choose the correct personal pronoun. So we're at a+students.ca, and we're going to our first lesson, which is to choose between subject and object pronoun. All right, and once again, we said we have subject pronouns, and we have object pronouns. And a subject pronoun tells us who is doing something, and it is usually at the beginning of a sentence. And the subject pronoun is words like I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. And then we have an object pronoun which comes after an action verb, comes after the verb, the action that is being done. And the object pronoun is words like me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. All right. So now we're going to complete the sentence with the best pronoun by either choosing the correct subject pronoun or the correct object pronoun. All right, so we can say, do we say we found, do we say we found she, or do we say we found her? So we need to say which one is correct. Do we say we found she, or do we say we found her? And if we were to find our correct word or correct pronoun that fits within our sentence in order to complete the sentence, then we will say we found her, right? And her is an object pronoun. So we say we found her. And that is an object pronoun. All right, so we found her, and that's an object pronoun. All right, the next one says we need to complete the sentence with the best pronoun, and this is definitely going to be a subject pronoun because it is at the beginning of a sentence. And if it's at the beginning of the sentence, we can either say he swims in the pool or she swims in the pool. So we can either say he swims in the pool or she swims in the pool, but it definitely has to be one person that swims in the pool because of our verb. So we can either say he swims in the pool or we can say she swims in the pool. So I'm going to do this. He or she swims in the pool. All right. And that is a subject pronoun. And remember, we said a subject pronoun, it's usually at the beginning of a sentence. So now we need to also complete the sentence with the best pronoun. So we need to say, do I say, I will read a book? She will read a book. Do we say, ye will read a book? Right? So we need to choose the subject pronoun. And the reason why it will be a subject pronoun, and that is because it is at the beginning of a sentence. And we will say, I will read a book. But in this case, you can either say, I will read a book, she will read a book, or he will read a book. So we will say, I will read a book. And that is a subject pronoun. And it's at the beginning of a sentence. All right, so now let's go to our test where we are either going to choose between a subject pronoun or we're going to choose between an object pronoun. And remember, a subject pronoun usually comes at the beginning of a sentence, whereas an object pronoun comes after an action verb, right? And our subject pronouns are words like I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. We, as our object pronouns, are words like me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. So we need to complete the sentence with the base pronoun. It says, can you hear? Do we say, can you hear I? Or do we say, can you hear me? So can you hear I? Or can you hear me? Which one is the correct pronoun? All right, and if we choose the correct pronoun, we can say, can you hear? And we will choose the second option and say, can you hear me? So, can you hear me? And that is our object pronoun, and it comes after an action verb. So, can you hear me? And that is correct. Yes, so me is correct. Well done. Let's go to the next one. It says, my mother holds. Do we say my mother holds he or my mother holds him? Which one is correct? My mother holds he or my mother holds him? We need to choose the correct pronoun. My mother holds he or my mother holds him. So my mother holds he, or do we say my mother holds him? Which one is correct? All right, and if we choose the correct object pronoun, we can say my mother holds him. That's an object pronoun, and that comes after our action verb, which is holds. So him is our object pronoun. We need to complete the sentence with the base pronoun. Do we say they heard a loud noise, or do we say them heard a loud noise? They heard a loud noise, or do we say them heard a loud noise? we need to choose the correct pronoun. Is it subject pronoun or object pronoun? All right, and if we were to choose the base pronoun, and then we'll choose a subject pronoun and say, they heard a loud noise. So they heard a loud noise. And they is our subject pronoun. So we say they heard a loud noise. And they is a subject pronoun, and it comes usually at the beginning of a sentence. They. All right, and if we choose the correct pronoun, we'll choose a subject pronoun, which is they heard a loud noise. And if we were to choose the correct pronoun, right, we will say they heard a loud noise. All right. All right, the next one says, the children thank. The children thank. Do we say the children thank her or the children thank she? So we can say the children thank her, right? So we can say the children thank her. And her is an object pronoun that comes after an action verb, which is thank. It says the children thank, and we can say the children thank her, right? So the children thank her, and that is an object pronoun. The next one says, do we say us live in Texas or do we say we live in Texas? All right, and if we choose the correct and base pronoun, right, we will choose a subject pronoun, which will be at the beginning of a sentence. And if we were to choose our correct subject pronoun, right, then we can say, do we say us live in Texas or do we say we live in Texas? All right, and we can say we. We live in Texas, and we is our subject pronoun which we usually find at the beginning of a sentence. And the last one that we're going to do is, do we say him wins the game or do we say he wins the game? And we can say he wins the game. Well done. Now we're going to choose the correct personal pronoun. So we need to choose between the personal pronouns now. And we need to complete the sentence with the pronoun that matches the word bold. All right, so if we complete the sentence with the pronoun that matches the word in bold, it says Mom and Aunt Mary. So Mom and Aunt Mary. And if we were to choose the correct pronoun in bold, all right, so we can say Mom, sorry, and Auntie Mary are in New York, and we can say I will call. So I will call. So we can then use it either say we'll call her today or we'll call him today. But you can choose one of those. I will call him today or I'll call he or him or call her today. So we can say Mom and Aunt Mary are in New York. I will call her today. And with her, we can say it is a subject pronoun. All right. All right, it says our friends live on a big farm. Our friends live on a big farm. All right. And if we choose the correct option, we can say our friends live on a big farm. All right. And it says our friends live on a big farm. All right. And if we choose the correct one, so we can then say only, not only, our friends live on a big farm. All right. So we say our friends live on a big farm. They have cows and pigs. That is now your friends that live on this big farm. So we then put our subject pronoun, which is they. All right, so we can say our friends live on a big farm. They have cows and pigs, right? So that is us choosing. So we can then say that our friends live on a big farm. They have cows and pigs. All right. And now we're going to, well done, well done. So now we're going to a+students.ca where we are going to choose the correct personal pronoun. And it says, the dogs are barking. The dogs are barking. All right, then we can say the dogs are barking. They are so loud. So we said the dogs are barking. They are so loud. Dad and I went to the zoo. And we can say my dad and I went to the zoo. We took pictures of the animal. All right, so we can say dad and I went to the zoo. We took some pictures of the lamb. And we is correct. All right, so we can say Pat and I did not see Anne. She's surprised. We say she surprised us or she surprised them. And we will choose us. And we can say Patty and I or Pat and I did not say Anne. All right, and we can say Pat and I did not see Anne. She surprised us. And us is correct. All right, so that is the end of our lesson on personal pronouns. Thank you very much, grade one, for joining the class, and I really hope you're going to have a good day further.